followers and listeners. Today I stand before you, not as the embodiment of evil, which I am often called, but as the messenger of the eternal choice that faces each of us. We live in a world of contrasts, where light cannot exist without darkness and good cannot exist without evil. It is the eternal opposition that makes the world go round, and each of us is part of this cosmic dance. Let me tell you a story as old as time itself, the story of two brothers. One was the embodiment of light, the other of darkness. They could not exist without each other. Day was always followed by night and joy by sorrow. Their destinies were tightly intertwined, like threads on a scrap of time. But ask yourself, could one of them be considered truly evil or truly good? Or were they both necessary for the balance of the world? I think this is a purely rhetorical question and everyone knows the answer to it. So do we. We stand at the crossroads between light and darkness almost every day. But do we have to choose only one side? Can't we find harmony within ourselves by embracing both sides? As the dry earth, scorched by the goodness of sunlight, embraces the torrential rain that sweeps away everything in its path with torrents of water, but brings coolness and nurtures new life in the moist earth, washing away all that is unnecessary and unimportant in this world. Ask yourself a question. When you do good, do you do it from your heart? Or is there a shadow of doubt, fear, or even vanity smoldering in you? And when you face the darkness within yourself, is it not part of your journey to personal growth and self-discovery? We are often faced with a choice: follow the path illuminated by the light, or go deeper into the darkness, exploring the unknown. But I offer you a third path, the path of acceptance and understanding that light and darkness are two sides of the same coin, two wings that allow the soul to soar above worldly contradictions. We are made of stars and shadows, of flame and ice. In each of us lives a spark of divine light and a shadow of eternal night. And only by accepting ourselves fully, with all our light and dark sides, can we find true balance and harmony. So let us, my friends, not be afraid of the darkness within us. Let us study it, let us understand it, and let it be our ally on the path to the light. For it is only by walking through the darkness that we can truly appreciate the light. Remember, each of us is a unique being whose life is a dance of light and shadow. And this dance is what makes us truly alive, what makes our hearts beat faster, fills our souls with passion and lust for life. Think of the great heroes of history, those who have left an indelible mark in the annals of time. Were they not consumed by the same contradiction that we are? Was not their greatness woven from the fabric of light and darkness, their strength from adversity, their wisdom from error? They understood that darkness is as necessary as light to bring out the best in themselves, to kindle a fire in the soul that lights the way for others. The lost traveler who walked through the dark, impenetrable forest. He feared every shadow, every rustle, and every step he took was permeated with fear and doubt. But gradually, he learned to see the beauty in the darkness. He accepted it as part of his path, and then the forest no longer seemed so terrible to him, and behind every tree there was no danger, but something that beckoned him to go forward. And when he finally came to the light, he was not just a traveler out of the darkness, he became a light that led others through their own dark forests. In the same way, as we embrace the darkness within us, we do not become its slaves. On the contrary, we gain the strength to become beacons of light for those who still wander in darkness. We learn to see beauty in all aspects of being, and our lives become deeper, fuller, more meaningful. Remember, my dear ones, there is no light without shadow, no joy without sorrow, no life without trials. In accepting the darkness, We are not rejecting the light. We simply recognize that true strength lies in the harmony of opposites, in the ability to see wholeness in separation, in the wisdom to choose the path of the heart in a world where light and darkness are eternally intertwined. In this world of contrasts, it is our acceptance of the full range of life experiences that makes us whole. And when we become whole, we become truly free. And in that freedom, my dear followers, we find our greatest strength and our greatest joy. Today I encourage you to ponder, what does it really mean to choose between darkness and light? Between hell and heaven? Between God and Satan? It's not just a choice between good and bad. It's much deeper than that. It's a choice between who you want to be and who society forces you to be. It's a choice between following my heart and conforming to external expectations. A boy is born, a young man grows out of the boy, and now he faces the crossroads of his life. Two choices, two paths, one path approved by his family and society, a path that would lead him to a prosperous but entirely predictable life, or a second path where he could follow the call of his heart that led him into the uncharted dark depths of his own self, to a path full of uncertainty, but towards his true passion. This choice was not just a choice of career or hobby. It was a choice between a life lived on someone else's terms, imposed on him by society, and a life lived authentically as his own. Think about it. How many times in your life have you faced a similar choice? How many times have you, yourself, had to choose between what society expects of you and what your heart says? How many times have you chosen safety over risk, the known over the unknown, light over darkness? We often see light as a symbol of all that is good, pure and holy, and darkness as something evil, dangerous and forbidden. But isn't darkness simply the absence of light? Is it not an opportunity for growth, for exploring one's own depths, for real self-knowledge? After all, it is in darkness that we see the stars. So what is the real choice between darkness and light? Can it be a choice between a living, breathing experience of self-exploration and self-discovery, and a comfortable but superficial life illuminated by the artificial light of societal expectations? Between hell and heaven, between God and Satan, lies a space for your own self, for your unique soul seeking to express itself. It is a space where you can be truly free, if only you dare to choose yourself. The question I ask you today is not about which side you are on in this eternal confrontation. The question is, are you ready to accept yourself fully, with all your light and dark sides, and live a life that is truly yours? Are you willing to answer your inner call, even if it means veering off the beaten path and entering the uncharted dark forests of your soul? Remember the story of that young man. He decided to follow the call of his heart, and his path was not an easy one. He faced misunderstandings from loved ones, self-doubt, and trials that tested his resolve and faith in himself. But each step in the darkness made him stronger. Each obstacle taught him to appreciate the light within himself and around him. In the end, he found that his dark forests were full of stars that illuminated his path to his own paradise, a paradise that was built on his terms, on his passions and dreams. So why are we so afraid of the darkness? Why do we try so hard to avoid the unknown, the risk, the uncertainty? Could it be because we are told from childhood that this is the way it should be, that we should follow the proven path to achieve happiness and success? But isn't it in the uncharted depths of our souls that the real treasures of ourself are found? Satan, as a charismatic figure, reminds us of the value of freedom of choice, the power of personal experience, and the importance of self-expression. He encourages us not to be afraid to explore the dark corners of our being, because that is where we can find the keys to our true self, our true passion and mission in this world. So the next time you are faced with a choice between darkness and light, between hell and heaven, between God and Satan, ask yourself, what is really important to me? What am I looking for in this life? What do I want my world to be like? Remember that each choice you make shapes your unique path. And don't be afraid of the darkness, for without it, you cannot see the light of the stars. I encourage you to embrace your darkness as well as your light, for only together do they make up the canvas of your soul. Open your heart to all aspects of your being, and you will find that your inner world is much richer and more diverse than you ever imagined. And remember, you are not alone in your journey of self-discovery and self-expression. We are all exploring this world of contrasts together, which is how we find our true path. I am not encouraging you to choose darkness. I am urging you to choose yourself, for there is both light and darkness in each of us. We cannot be wholly good or wholly bad. We are complex. We are contradictory. We are unique. And that is where our strength lies. Think about it. What makes us define ourselves through the lens of absolute goodness? Who said that choosing between light and darkness is like choosing between good and evil? Isn't it time we abandon these outdated dichotomies and recognize that our true nature lies in the harmony of opposites? I ask you these questions because I realize that recognizing our many facets requires courage. The courage to be different. The courage to explore the depths of oneself that society considers taboo or unacceptable. But aren't these depths the key to our uniqueness, to our true power? Why do we have to choose between being good or bad when in fact each of us carries a whole spectrum of feelings, emotions, thoughts and desires? Can't we be both strong and vulnerable at the same time, and generous and selfish, and wise and misguided? Perhaps some would say that this approach to life is an invitation to chaos. But I ask, is it not in chaos that creativity is born? Is it not from contradictions that true self-knowledge is born? After all, it is the collision of the different aspects of our personality that allows us to grow, develop, and become full beings. I encourage you not to reject the parts of yourself that seem unworthy or unacceptable to you. Embrace them. Explore them. They are your part of yourself. Allow them to teach you something new about yourself. For it is in embracing the full range of your emotions and aspirations that you will find true freedom. So when I encourage you to choose yourself, I am encouraging you to let go of external expectations and stereotypes. I encourage you to live a life that reflects the fullness of your inner world, with all its light and dark corners. For that is how you can find your true strength and uniqueness. Don't be afraid of your complexity. Embrace it. Use it as a source of your strength. Remember that it is in your uniqueness that your true essence lies. And let this choice be the most courageous and liberating step of your life. How often do we suppress parts of ourselves to conform to someone else's expectations? How many times have we given up on our desires because they don't fit within the boundaries of normalcy? But who defines those boundaries? And isn't it time we ask ourselves the question, who am I living my life for? For myself or for others? Satan, as a symbol of opposition and self-assertion, reminds us of the importance of personal choice and self-expression. He teaches us that true happiness and fulfillment are impossible without recognizing and accepting all that we are, not by trying to please everyone around us, but by striving to be true to ourselves. Whatever it feels like to recognize the darkness and light in ourselves, it's not a sentence. It's a liberation. It is a realization that you are not alone in your contradictions and struggles. It's recognizing that each of us carries, Within us a whole world full of diversity and beauty, even if it's sometimes hidden behind shadows. Why are we so afraid of the darkness within ourselves? Perhaps because we feel that acknowledging its existence makes us weak. But isn't true strength in the ability to recognize and accept our fears, our dark sides, and yet keep going forward? Isn't that what courage is all about? The ability to face all that we are and not turn away. I encourage you to ask yourself questions that may seem uncomfortable or even scary. What do I really want out of life? What are my true desires and aspirations? What do I really care about? And am I willing to give up trying to conform to other people's expectations for that? Remember that every choice you make, every step you take towards self-discovery and self-expression is an act of courage. It is your right to be a complete, multifaceted individual who is not afraid of her uniqueness. It is your path to true freedom, the freedom to be yourself, in all your diversity and complexity. So let us together open the door to this world of self-discovery and self-acceptance. Let us together explore all corners of our inner world without fear of what we may find there. And let this journey be the most important journey of your life, a journey to yourself, to your true essence. To choose between hell and heaven is to choose between the easy path and the path that requires effort. Heaven is not handed to us on a silver platter, it has to be earned. But don't forget that every trial, every obstacle, only makes us stronger. Choosing between God and Satan is not a choice between absolute good and absolute evil. It is a choice between accepting prescribed truths and finding one's own way of understanding the world. Once upon a time, in ancient times, there was a wise man who sought answers to life's eternal questions. He could have chosen the path of light, which promised him peace and salvation, by following established rules and dogma. Or he could choose the path of darkness, which required him to abandon all precepts and plunge into the depths of his own soul in search of truth. The sage chose the second path, not because he sought evil, but because he sought the fullness of understanding that transcends the prescribed. He faced many trials on his journey, but each one only made him stronger and wiser. In the end, he found his paradise, which was not a place but a state of mind filled with deep understanding and peace. Thus, the choice between hell and heaven, between God and Satan, is really a choice between following external teachings without question or doubt and a courageous journey within ourselves in search of our own truth. This choice is not about good and evil in their absolute sense, but about how we define the meaning of our lives and the effort we are willing to put forth to achieve true understanding. I ask you, is not true courage in the ability to accept the challenge of self-discovery and self-realization, even if it requires departing from established norms and values? Isn't that what our raison d'etre is? The constant quest for understanding, for growth, for overcoming. Each of us faces a choice: to follow the easy path, which promises us security and certainty, but limits our growth, or to choose a path full of obstacles and unknowns, which, however, promises a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world. This choice is never easy, but it is the choice that determines who we will become and what kind of life we will lead. So, as you stand at the crossroads, remember that Satan is not evil, but a challenge to self-discovery. In fact, even the very idea of Satan in many cultures and religions carries not only a negative context, but also the idea of power, wisdom, and the pursuit of freedom. It poses questions for us that we must find answers to within ourselves without relying solely on external authorities or prescribed truths. Take, for example, the legend of Prometheus, who dared to confront the gods in order to bring fire to humans. This myth, though not directly connected to the figure of Satan, shares with us the spirit of rebellion against the established order for the greater good. Prometheus, like Satan in some interpretations, symbolizes sacrifice for progress and learning. He reminds us that true development often requires a departure from comfortable but limiting rules and dogmas. The very process of choosing between the established order and one's own path to understanding truth is a journey full of complexities and challenges. It requires us to face our own fears, doubts and uncertainties, but it is the path that allows us to grow, evolve, and gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Ask yourself the question, what am I looking for in life? The security and certainty of the established order, or deep understanding and fulfillment, even if it requires me to overcome challenges? This is a choice no one can make for you. It is your path, your life, your journey of self-discovery. Remember that every step along the way, every obstacle, every mistake is not just a challenge, but an opportunity for growth and development. Each time we face challenges, we learn to be stronger, wiser, and more insightful. And ultimately, this journey to ourselves, to our true selves, can be the most important and meaningful journey of our lives. So the next time you are faced with a choice between the easy path and the path to true self-discovery and self-realization, ask yourself, what do I really want out of life? And let your choice be a conscious and true choice for you. Remember that every choice you make, every step you take, leaves an imprint in the sand of time. Your decisions, your actions shape your destiny. You are the artist painting the picture of your life, and it is up to you whether it will be filled with light or consumed by darkness. Let your choices be conscious. Let it come from the depths of your heart. And remember that in this endless confrontation between light and darkness, good and evil, hell and heaven, God and Satan, the most important thing is to remain true to yourself. Imagine an artist standing in front of a blank canvas. That canvas is an allegory of his life. He can choose traditional colors and shapes, following the established canons and expectations of society, or he can dare to experiment, trusting his inner voice, his intuition. This choice between safety and risk, between predictability and the unknown, is the essence of the confrontation in question. Satan, in this context, offers not a rejection of all rules for the sake of chaos, but an invitation to choose our own path, to a deeper self-knowledge. What is really important to you? What do you want to reflect in your picture of life? Following other people's expectations or genuinely expressing yourself? Every choice, every decision, even seemingly insignificant ones, contributes to the mosaic of our destiny. Like an artist mixing colors on a palette, we blend choices and actions to create something unique and unrepeatable. But it's important to remember that every color matters. Every line can change the whole picture. So it is in life. Every step we take, every word and deed carries with it a power that can both light our path and shadow it. Satan asks us questions. What imprint do you want to leave on the sand of time? What story will your painting tell? Will it be a story of finding light in darkness, of struggle and overcoming, or of a courageous journey into the depths of your own soul in search of truth? In this struggle between light and darkness, good and evil, hell and heaven, God and Satan, the key is not to choose between the two extremes, but to remain true to oneself, one's values and beliefs. For it is faithfulness to ourselves that allows us to pass through darkness to light, through evil to good, through hell to the paradisiacal state of our own souls. So when you are faced with a choice, Remember the power and meaning of each step you take. Let your picture of life be filled with the colors you have chosen for yourself from the depths of your heart. And remember that in this endless dance of light and darkness, where every step and every turn matters, the most important thing is not to lose your melody. In a world where every day offers new challenges and solutions, maintaining your own uniqueness and authenticity becomes an act of courage and rebellion, just as Satan challenged the established rules to explore the uncharted depths of freedom and self-expression. Don't forget that each of your paintings is not just a reflection of the moment. It is the cry of your soul, of your ego seeking understanding and self-expression. In this context, the figure of Satan reminds us of the value of choice, the beauty of diversity, and the importance of finding our own path in life, even if it lies outside of established norms and expectations. Every story, every myth, every legend in which Satan plays a role carries a lesson about willpower, the thirst for knowledge, and the unquenchable desire for freedom that lives in the heart of each of us. These stories call us to consider, what am I willing to risk to find and express my truth? What boundaries am I willing to cross in search of light in the midst of darkness? Your life is your work of art, and only you decide what colors to fill it with. Perhaps the path to light is through darkness, and to find your true self, you must dare to face your fears and doubts. You are not alone in this journey. Like Satan, many before you have chosen the path of self-discovery and self-expression, overcoming obstacles and challenging limitations. Remember that every choice you make and every action you take is a step toward discovering your true self. In this process of self-discovery and self-expression, you are not only creating your life, but you are also contributing to the bigger picture of the world, making it more diverse, vibrant, and profound. So when you are faced with another choice, remember Satan not as a symbol of evil, but as the embodiment of the pursuit of freedom, self-discovery, and truth. May this reminder inspire you to follow your path despite all difficulties and challenges, and may each step you take bring you closer to realizing who you really are. I am here, I am with you, I am near.